Hello everybody, welcome to Sure Shot Archery. Anthony here, and today I'm going to talk to you about my experience shooting archery while I was in middle school and high school. Now this is going to be based off of the USA public school education system, more notably in New Jersey. But this idea, this concept should be able to be used, or at least the ideas should be able to be used, I would think, across the U.S. and hopefully across the world. Hopefully this just gives some really good ideas and just maybe different ways to look at the challenges of trying to shoot archery while attending middle school and high school. So first off, we need to start out with the major challenges, and these two challenges were the things that came to my mind first, and I think are the most important. And the first one is you don't drive. Now, later on in high school, at least in the U.S., you do get your driver's license, so you do kind of fix problem number one about not being able to transport yourself somewhere. But for the majority, or all of middle school and the majority of high school, you do have to take into consideration that somebody has to probably drive you to and from the range, to and from archery practice, or at least getting back home and shooting at your home range. Another way people are getting around the driving issue is some kids are actually taking Ubers to and from school to their local archery range. Of course, you should definitely be talking to your parents about this first. Don't just take it from me. But the archers that I've talked to that do this, their parents are like, yeah, you want to go shoot? I'll pay for you to take an Uber. And they're taking the Uber the same time pretty much every single day to go to their local range and shoot. So they're getting the same Uber driver or Lyft, whatever company you want to use. And I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe you can actually request a particular driver if it's, if they have a schedule that they normally run. And of course, this is going to develop more over time as all these alternatives to taxis and stuff are really coming in, full steam because of the internet and everybody having a cell phone and a wireless connection. So number two, the second biggest challenge that you're going to have at this age is you're not in charge of your schedule, at least to a degree. Now hear me out on this one. For the most part, you're not making your own like doctor's appointments. You're not in charge of scheduling when you have, haircuts or, work, and like especially when you're getting into high school, you're probably going to pick up a job after school. A lot of this stuff you got to learn to schedule around, and it's hard. I found it a lot harder at the high school, middle school age than I do now as an adult out of college. I can really, pick and choose when I want to go to the doctor based on when I'm working. And just things like that. I can work them around my tournaments. I can work them, for the most part, around my shooting schedule. There's a lot more flexibility outside of high school and middle school. So that's another thing you have to keep in mind. I don't know if that's something you can work with your parents with. Be like, hey, can we, schedule all doctor's appointments on, I don't know, Wednesday or something. Obviously you're going to have to work towards your parents' schedule because you are a child and you are reliant on them not only for your transportation but for everything else under the sun, including the roof over your head. So definitely talk to your parents first on that. But those are probably the two big roadblocks, at least in my experience when I was shooting archery in middle school and high school. So now we're going to move into some time slots. The first one I want to talk about is the before school time slot. Now I'm not giving you a particular time because schools start at all different times. But from my experience, school started here very early in the morning. There was some years that I was waking up 6 o'clock, 5:30 even. Like it was pretty rough, at least in my opinion. I know the working world, you get up earlier than that, but it's definitely not enough time to go wake up at like 3 in the morning to go shoot arrows. Especially like most ranges aren't opened. Even if it's a 24-hour range, you really, as a child, you probably don't want to be doing that. Like, you can make those decisions as an adult, but morning before school is probably not the best time. So that's something that I would just take completely out of my schedule. I wouldn't even think about shooting archery before school just because it doesn't work. Plus, you're also making sure that you're all set for school. You gotta make sure you shower and get, everything all ready. You gotta make sure you got all that homework done. Any little last minute things, make sure, you got your lunch and all those other things. You gotta take care of that too. So yeah, it's definitely not a good time for archery. Now, if you're lucky enough that school starts later, like, I don't know, 9 o'clock for some reason, then you could probably pull it off if you're somebody that likes to wake up early. And you could probably go in and practice, especially if it's at your house or if your local range is nearby and somebody wants to wake up and drive you. Our next time slot is archery during school. Now, this is going to suck up the majority of the time you have in the day, and the thing is, there's not too much you can do about it. Odds are your school's not going to let you just go and shoot archery, especially in this day and age, But at that point, on that note, you could see if your school runs some kind of JoEd program, some kind of school program. Maybe you'll get lucky enough where you do have archery in a gym class. Odds are you probably won't be able to bring your own bow, but you'll get to shoot some kind of bow, which is kind of fun to do. And if you're already experienced in archery, you're really going to be showing up the class on how to shoot, which is kind of fun. Other than that, you're really kind of stuck during the school day unless you're going to some really alternative school that has a way more flexible schedule. But then again, this is not college. This is high school and middle school, and it's I don't know, from my experience, it's a lot more structured and everything's a lot more set in place, and you have a lot less flexibility to make things work better for your own personal schedule. But that does continue on to our third time slot, and that is the after-school time slot. And this is when your opportunities open up, as long as you have your 2 challenges covered. Do you have a ride, and do you not have any appointments to things that you weren't in control of in getting those times set? Now, archery after school is definitely the prime time to shoot. You do have homework in there, but you can either do that before you go to the range, before your parents take you, or maybe even get that Uber ride to the range, your parents to drive you to the range. You can do your homework at the range, and then you can go in and shoot. I know at the range I go to, there's a lot of school kids there, and they do homework, and then they'll go and shoot arrows, or they'll shoot some arrows and then do some homework. They have a good mix of it, but they're always getting that homework done, because school is important at the end of the day. And you definitely want to square that away before you get into your shooting. That way you don't have really the distraction of I got to do all this math or whatever before I get to shooting arrows. After school, you can also have the opportunity to go to a local JoEd program, which could be your local range, or maybe even your school has an archery team. I know there is things in the works for that, or at least that's what it sounds like. So hopefully there'll be more opportunities, in the future for kids to just be able to shoot at your school, because there is a lot of benefits to archery, not only physically, but on the mental side of it, just getting confidence in what you can do, and that really translates well into success in life and in school more than just on the archery field. So I could see schools picking up programs like this to, benefit the students, and you have a responsibility too. It's a sport that you do have to take, seriously to an extent, which is good for, young people. Other things that are beneficial after school, there could be a family range night or something like that. Maybe find a way to talk your parents into going to your local range to shoot archery with you, or you could do it all as a family. I don't know, you might have to throw different ideas at them. I would think if you're shooting archery as it is, your parents are probably fairly supportive of this. Or if it's just something you're interested in, you're checking this video out of, can I make this happen? Maybe bring up some of these ideas to your parent or parents, and then figure out something that you guys could work out together. Other than that, maybe talk to your parents to see if you can set up a blank bale situation in maybe your garage, or in a room that doesn't face anything else. There's definitely safety requirements to that, because you want to be as safe as possible. Blank bale, the odds of you having an accident with it are really minimum, but that's the point. We don't want accidents in archery. So before going into that, I would definitely check out as much information and ask as many questions as possible before actually setting up any kind of even blank bale setup in your house, just to keep everybody safe, yourself and others. And with that, that pretty much wraps up my take on shooting archery in middle school and high school. Your major shortcuts would be if you have some kind of home range, either one where you get to shoot the full distance, may that be 18 meters, or for me, I can shoot all the way up to 90 technically. I only need 70, but I got plenty of space here. Or if you do have the ability to shoot in your house safely after making sure that it is safe and nobody's going to be harmed, maybe doing some blank bail or some very short shooting in maybe a garage after you pull the cars out or something like that. If there's a will to do it, and your family is with you on this, you can make it happen. It may just be arranging times to be driven or picked up by friends to go to the range every couple of days. But whatever it is, you can make it happen if you want to, but you may have to put some effort in to make it a reality. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps a lot of people. I know it would have been helpful for me to have seen this information earlier on in shooting, since I developed a majority of these ideas along the way, and then just suggestions from other people. So I'm kind of throwing them all together here, and basing it on my actual real world experience and sharing them with you, the viewer. So thank you so much again. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. Share this with people that it may help. And as always, happy shooting.